Vivo has a new phone in the market called the S1 Pro, and just like the S1, the focus once again for this phone is on the design, especially that new diamond-shaped camera module at the back. Now, Vivo has launched just one variant of the S1 Pro at 19,990 rupees. This puts it directly against phones such as the Realme X2, Redmi K20, and even the recently announced Oppo F15. So, is the S1 Pro worth considering at this price? Let's find out. Now before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that bell icon so you're the first to know whenever we have a new video. The Vivo S1 Pro is a good looking smartphone. It feels a little chunky at 8.68mm, and after prolonged one-handed use, the 186 grams is definitely noticeable. It's comfortable to hold and not too slippery either, but Vivo still uses laminated plastic instead of glass for the back. 6.38-inch Super AMOLED display with a Full HD Plus resolution. The display gets very bright, making it easily legible even under direct sunlight. The colors are also very vivid thanks to the AMOLED panel, and sharpness of the text and icons are adequate. Videos are enjoyable to watch thanks to the vivid display. There's an in-display fingerprint sensor too, which works well. Face unlock is present too, which is reliable, but just not as quick as the implementation seen on other phones in this segment. The display has a screen protector pre-installed, which gets annoying quickly as it grazes against your skin when using gestures. There's a hybrid SIM tray on the S1 Pro, but I ideally would have preferred a dedicated slot for memory expansion. At the bottom there's a USB Type-C port, a speaker, and on the top you get a headphone jack. Now the speaker doesn't get too loud even when playing back videos, and the sound is a bit tinny. For software, we have Vivo's FunTouch OS 9.2, which is based on Android 9 Pie. The Android security patch is fairly recent too, from December 2019. The interface is still unnecessarily complicated, and I really wish Vivo overhauls this soon. There's a lot of bloatware pre-installed, which is quite annoying. The S1 Pro is powered by a Snapdragon 665 octa-core SoC, which I'm a little surprised to see honestly, considering that this is typically found in phones closer to the 10,000 rupee mark. It's not a bad chip by any means, but driving a Full HD Plus display in tasks like gaming can be challenging. Thankfully, Vivo has also kitted it with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. The Snapdragon 665 handles multitasking well, but it's not the strongest chip for playing heavy games. PUBG Mobile struggled with smooth frame rates even at the low graphics preset. The game was playable but felt a little jerky at times. I didn't notice any overheating issues here, thankfully, even after around 30 minutes of gameplay. The Vivo S1 Pro packs in a 4500 mAh battery, which easily lasts for about a day and a half, if not more, even with rigorous usage. In our battery loop test, the phone ran for 17 hours and around 7 minutes, which is a good time to have. Charging the phone completely still took about 2.5 hours in total, which is not the fastest. Vivo has set up the S1 Pro with 4 rear cameras, the primary one being a 48 megapixel sensor. The design of the camera module is unique and allows the S1 Pro to stand out. In daylight, the Vivo S1 Pro managed to capture average-looking landscape shots. Details were decent and colors were alright, but images lacked good depth. Objects on the side of the frame also had a bit of grain. HDR kicks in when needed, but the end result wasn't always very good. Some images had a bluish hue to them, which looked a little unnatural. Now, close-ups fared a little better with good bokeh and details in objects. The wide-angle camera also offered a nice perspective, but colors weren't very accurate here. With bokeh mode, the S1 Pro's depth camera did a decent job of detecting edges and blur out the right areas. Colors and details were also very good. The macro camera was handy at times, but it's not something I found super useful. Low-light photos are once again strictly average. Focusing speed is a lot slower, and it takes a second or two longer to save the photo. There's no dedicated night shooting mode either. In landscape shots, I noticed that details were generally mushy, and there was some visible grain in the shadow regions too. The S1 Pro redeemed itself with 32 megapixel selfie camera, which captured detailed photos when shooting under ideal light. Details were fairly good even when shooting against the light. However, the photos captured here were at the full 32 megapixel resolution instead of the pixel bin shots, which is what I would have preferred. Low-light selfies were grainy, but the screen flash did help here a bit. Coming to videos, you can only shoot up to 1080p resolution, which is not great, especially at this price. Unfortunately, there's no stabilization either, which is a big bummer. The selfie camera can shoot up to 1080p too, but again without any stabilization. Low light video quality is not very good as there's lots of grain and details are generally weak. The wide-angle camera shoots even poorer footage in low light, making it relatively unusable. The Vivo S1 Pro is a good-looking phone with a solid battery life and a crisp display, but just like the S1, Vivo seems to have prioritized style in this one over everything else, giving you a rather underpowered processor at this price. If you're hoping to play heavy games and take great photos, then the S1 Pro is probably not the phone for you. Other options at this price level such as Realme X2 and even the Redmi K20 have much more powerful SoCs that will hold up much better over the next few years. The selfie camera on the S1 Pro is actually not too bad, however the rear cameras feel a little underwhelming. Also, we would have liked a dedicated micro SD card slot, and Vivo's custom software could really use an overhaul. Overall, the Vivo S1 Pro is not a bad pick if all you want is a stylish phone with good battery life and a punchy display. However, as a well-rounded package, you're better off looking at options from Realme and Xiaomi at this price. So thanks for watching our review, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.